Wholeness, Bounce Vibrations, everybody. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another Sacred Light conversation. I am the one holding the space, Marcus Robbins, aka Christolight33, and I have a wonderful guest coming on to help with me in explaining and kind of diving into the 7 chakras and our main system of chakras when it comes to our earth vessels and experiences here on earth. We're going to tie in the energy properties, the way it helps our physical, and much more. But our guest is Spectrum Exponential. He's a wonderful brother of ours that I've been connecting with for a little bit over a year now, maybe 2. And we just have some very valuable knowledge to share to get people that ground base of understanding the chakras and how to balance them and become their whole self. So we're going to dive right in, and we will go ahead and just kind of give the basis of the 7 chakras and what they kind of entail when it comes to the names and locations and the properties that come with it. So down at the root or the base, you have the root chakra, and the color that associates with this chakra is red, and it correlates to being able to ground to Earth or Mother Gaia's energies. This will help with survival, knowing that you have everything you need while you're here. It also helps with grounding your memories and staying present in the present moment. And then you have the sacral, which is 1 higher, and that is an orange color. And that relates to your sexuality, that cosmic fire, and your ability to be sensual with life and expressing yourself. Then we have the navel or the solar plexus chakra, and this is yellow, and it associates with the self-power. Being able to recognize and be in awareness of having the power of all within yourself, having the self-esteem to go through everyday life and be yourself without judgment of your own self, and having confidence. And as we rise up higher in the center, we have the heart chakra, and the color associated with this one is green. And this is the center where you'll find unconditional love, that sense of oneness with all, and the ability to be empathetic or empathize with all beings and reflections of ourselves. And then rising up, you got the throat chakra, and the color that associates with the throat is blue. And this deals with being able to communicate, express, and be creative with your communications of your inner truth. Being able to vocalize and express where you feel there needs to be change, or if something is bothering you. So then you climb up and you reach the brow, or the 3rd eye chakra, as most know. And this is like a indigo purple color. And this associates with your intuition, your divine wisdom, the guidance, and manifestation. And then the final of the 7 is at the top of the head, and that is the crown chakra. And this is what opens up and allows divine spiritual energy to flow in and enter our vessel and climb down into the rest of the chakras to be able to keep that circulation cycle of heavenly divine energy, also with the Mother Earth energy that comes up through the root. And then in the center of both of those energies, the heavenly and the earthly energies, you have the heart chakra, and that is the center of us, the center of all. Okay, so we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about Kundalini energy. And would you like to go ahead and share some valuable knowledge on what you know about the Kundalini energy?
Yeah, I can explain a little bit about my perspective. Well, the Kundalini energy basically is like this primal force of energy, and it actually it flows through everything. It flows through every cell in our body. It flows through creation. It is, in a sense, it's the creative principle um, of how do I explain? Basically just creative principle that flows through all things. It's like the father and the mother force, they divided themselves from the androgynous self to then again begin to unite back together so that this creation could exist in the womb in between them. So then as these two forces, the father and the mother force, merge together, it begins to create these secretions almost. And it's like if you think of it, like the father holds a reflection of everything that is, and the mother also holds a reflection of everything that is. And then as they begin to come closer and closer together, um, the fire principle of the mother resonates with the fire principle of the father, and the water principle of the mother resonates with the water principle of the father, and they create like this third principle, this emanation of both in between. It's like this field, this third force, which is like I said, a secretion. It's a whole new presentation of these same forces, but it's how the two of them relate to each other. So like basically you have the two forces, like the fire and the water below, and you have the fire and the water above. And as we raise our kundalini, it's like tapping into the fire and the water that is below us and being able to raise that up and be a bridge so that it can fully connect to that equivalent force from above, so that it can freely flow throughout our body. And basically the chakras are just different expressions, like on like an octave. They're just different levels of frequency of that energy raising up. They're basically like whole notes. Like if you have if you're able to play like a musical, like a note, like a frequency, a sound, and if you have a dial, like you can turn that to like any frequency, and like you can hit the different areas like between the chakras. But like basically if you keep turning that dial and turning that dial, you'll hit these specific points where they become like crystallized, and those vibrations form like geometric forms, geometric solid shapes. That's like the points where the chakras meet at. So the kundalini is basically the pure the pure representation of this energy that's flowing through us. And as we like tap into it, like it's already in a sense it's flowing through us, but like when we truly awaken it, it's like it's not like our kundalini is off and then on. It's more like we have a trickle of a charge flowing through us, and then like fully awaken is to like clear all the blockages so that we are like have like this massive unshakable river of just divine energy that's constantly channeling through us. the Kundalini is like it is our life force. If that was ever shut off at any point, we wouldn't be able to like animate this body. We wouldn't be able to be here in this
world. Right. Yeah. So like what you were just describing, so you have like the masculine principles, and then you have the feminine. And so in this diagram, the Shushuma is that straight and narrow middle path, as they describe in like sacred text. You know, that straight and narrow path is the path. And what it's saying by that is saying it's the path of order and balance, supreme balance of all, is the straight and narrow path. Not being too left, not being too right, not being too masculine, not being too feminine. When you stay in the balance in the center of all of it, that is when you're on the straight and narrow path. So okay. So when it comes to chakras, the chakras are part of our energy body or energy field. And just to, for a second, kind of go into it, we have multiple layers, multiple bodies in our field. We have a physical body, we have an energy body, an emotional body, a casual body, an astral. I think I'm forgetting some other ones, but our energy body is like where the aura comes in. And the chakras are correlated in that same energy field with the aura. So physically, we're connected to our energy field. It's like a parallel body. And each chakra center has a gland in our physical body that correlates to it and functions with it. So when it comes to the root, for males, it's the testes, and for females, it's the ovaries. When it comes to the sacral, it's the pancreas, and the solar plexus is the kidney or adrenal gland, and then the heart is the thymus, the throat is the thyroid, and the third eye is the hippocampus. And
I think the third eye. Wait, the third eye is the pituitary gland, or that it's related with the hippocampus.
And then you have the pineal.
Yeah.
So when we're working on our chakras and we are clearing them, so in case if anybody's wondering, chakra is a Sanskrit word for wheel of energy. And when we're clearing and activating these wheels of energy in our energy bodies, it's then correlating and trickling into our physical as well, helping our glands function in perfect harmony. And when each of our glands are cleared and they're healthy and they're vibrating and functioning in their perfect harmonic order and balance throughout our vessel, it allows our DNA and our organism to function at its maximum and highest potential, allowing the most of our light or most of our soul and spirit to function through this vessel here on earth. Okay, so some ways to see if your chakras are out of balance, whether it's too much energy or too little. So the root ways that you can tell that it's blocked is you'll have a lack of confidence. you'll have a fear about everything in life, and you will kind of have this sense of not wanting to be here, not wanting to be alive, depression. Um, if it's opened and it's working a little bit too much, that's when you can become self-absorbed and kind of put yourself over others. Um, Now, when it comes to the sacral, ways that you can tell that it's blocked is being not having that sexual motor, that sexual drive, and not having a really a desire to have fun, to like move around, to dance, to have enjoyable time with everyday life. Um, and then when it's excessive, there can be attachment to sexuality, um, kind of like a over motor in inappropriate ways. So for the solar plexus, ways that you can tell that it's blocked is being very self-conscious, having low self-esteem, um, feeling judgmental on your own self about everything you do, or feeling like it's not good enough. And then when it's over and excessive, that is driving yourself too much without balancing rest and understanding that you need to be able to balance your efforts and being able to rest and heal yourself as well. And um, something else that I noticed when it comes to the solar plexus being too open is believing that you're more inferior to others and not listening ever, and not allowing others to share wisdom with you or knowledge for you to be able to grow and learn. So then the heart chakra, you can tell it's blocked when there's attachment and attachment to relationships, to others, not being able to feel and find the love for another or even your own self at that. And then um, another way you can tell that it's blocked is not being in the present moment and knowing that, you know, life is a blessing, life is beautiful, and your breath alone just shows you that you are blessed and you are gifted with being here. And um, ways that you can tell that it's overly open is if you start to become overcritical and judgmental about yourself and others, and um, yeah, possessiveness, which is also kind of like attachment. So the throat chakra, when you can tell that it's being blocked, there's a what's the best way to describe it? It's like there's this fear. There's like a fear to voice and communicate when you feel something within yourself that needs to be expressed, or you don't feel the creative spark to express and communicate through arts and your passions and what you love to do. So when it's overtly open, that's when you start talking over others. Um, it's kind of like hand in hand with that solar plexus, with not listening but always talking and wanting to be the right one. For the third eye, ways that you can tell that it's blocked energetically is if you are always doing things that you're even telling yourself you shouldn't do, which is being undisciplined. Um, falling deeply into illusion after illusion and attaching to those illusions and believing those illusions as the truth. And then uh, having a lack of receiving wisdom. And when it's overtly open, people can use their third eye to manipulate others for what they would like to happen. Um, they can become deceitful, white lies, try to cover up who they are by presenting something different. And for the crown, finally, when it comes to lacking energy and being blocked, it's when you are always tired, you're never having that regeneration, never receiving that that guidance and feeling of being divine, being a um, divine creation of the one. And when it's excessive, it's when you become impatient and you want everything right now, and you can't seem to just be still and be in the harmony and knowing that everything is in divine time perfectly. And then, so animals have chakras as well. All beings have energy centers when it comes to their makeup. Okay. Is there anything that's surfacing right now that you'd like to share?
Um, yeah, I'm just thinking like, do you want to like, next, you want to like kind of go into like why they get blocked and like how to unblock them and.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
all right. Well, because like what I'm thinking is like, um, a lot of times like these things like they express as like as blockages. Like what I've experienced is that um, you know a lot of times like people like it is somewhat like food and things like that. Food makes a huge difference. Like what we're eating, I'd say is like one of the big ways um, that dictate the energy that's actually like flowing through our body. You are what you eat. But at the same time, like a lot of what I realized is that it's uh, basically if we have like one blockage in our life energetically with a chakra, then it tends to be a pattern that we'll experience multiple times. Like sometimes it may um, it may express itself as some kind of like disease or dissatisfaction,
Yeah,
and like we'll let it'll like play itself out until it brings us to the point where we have to like change. And then people will create these quick subtle changes in their lives, and then like slowly over time they'll revert back to the old ways that they were doing something, and then that'll get blocked again, and they'll continue to build up and build up and build up until it becomes like a disease again, and then it creates these cycles. And like a lot of times it's like um, it's all in the way that we direct like the energy of our life. Like what is our life path? Is our life path something that's like all encompassing of our true selves, or are we having to like diminish ourselves and our truth to be able to fit into a box that doesn't really resemble our higher calling? And I feel like that's a lot of people these days are putting themselves into this box, and because of that are having to diminish layers of themselves and only able to express through certain areas. So I think a lot of the, the bigger point is to be able to create a life where we're able to like fully express ourselves on all levels. Yeah, like definitely like it's interesting too, like I've noticed that there is kind of like a Rosetta Stone that connects like the language of how like all people express themselves. There is like a foundational way that the energy expresses itself, but notice there's kind of like each archetype of person has kind of like a different language for how they primarily express and use the energies. Like sometimes you'll see people that, well, a lot of people these days, I think, see, like they express all 7 chakras, but they kind of do it through a root chakra perspective or a sacral chakra perspective. And from the root chakra perspective, these are like people that are more focused on like their surroundings and, like you said, like that survival mode. And then like sacral chakra will be people that are more like vanity prone, and they're more focused on like their body, or they may not be necessarily vanity, but like the health of their body, the wellness of their body. So like seeing it, from a like seeing the 7 chakras from a root chakra perspective, like then in your root chakra, your focus may be more about like having beautiful surroundings, and then your sacral chakra, to fulfill that, might be um, uh, more about like seeing like the things that you see and consume. It may be more like flowing, like elegant things that are around you, and then to fulfill your sacral chakra, might be more about like having things that are like rhythmically in tune. And then heart chakra could be more about like having like that feng shui, like where everything has like a purpose in your life. And then throat chakra would be like expressing yourself through things. So but then like somebody that's more like sacrally chakra inclined, like their root chakra, their expressions may be purely through like going to the gym. Like they may really work that root chakra by hitting cardio and just like doing like explosive workouts. And then their sacral chakra, that it may be more like dancing and like qigong style exercises. And then solar plexus would be more like stretching and flexibility and mobility. Heart chakra would be like really focusing on like self-care and nurturing yourself. Throat chakra could be about like the way that other people see you. And third eye would be like the way that you can incorporate creativity and deeper thought and complexity into your workouts to really like maybe like isolate specific areas, or imbue your own creative experience into the way that you work out. And then like crown chakra would be like seeing how it all ties together. So each so like if somebody that's more inclined to see it through that sacral chakra, say if it's like a more of like your stereotypic overly masculine man, and like he thinks that like elegance and like in like flowing nature, he might think that that's not very masculine, so that he wouldn't do any kind of like dancing motions, to be strict, rigid, kind of like robotic movement. Then that would probably express itself in kind of like a sacral solar plexus area. So like in a sense, like we can see these different archetypes where these people have these main ways, like their own specific language. And I think really where we begin to find our deepest power is when we begin to see like all of the languages for what they are, and be able to stand in the middle and become that Rosetta Stone that speaks to all people. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of like sees all of the areas, incorporates it all in our lives, because I mean, some people are, like I said, are more inclined to that environmental appeal. And then other people are more inclined to that that physical appeal. And then you have other people that are more inclined to like motivation and like inspiration and like being powerful, that personal magnetism. That's its own language. And then you have people that are more inclined to like building relationships and facilitating connections with other people. That's its own language. And then even just communicating, body language, like handshakes, smiles, um, uh, um, verbal abilities, singing. These have their own language. And then, it's just, and then like, so then I'll just keep going and just cover them all then. So like third eye, it's basically, it can be two languages, but then those two languages can merge. Like creativity is its own language, and creativity expresses on every level. Like I said, you have the creativity on the root chakra level, which is like creativity in your environment, the way that you actually connect to the world, like energetically. Creativity on the sacral chakra level, which is like flowing and being out, just like creative expression of the body, free flowing nature. And then obviously the other half would be more logic based, so like in the root chakra would be like having a purpose for everything that's around you, seeing like a way that it like amplifies um, and um, and just pushes you forward in life. And then sacral chakra would be like doing your workout like very meticulously, having every motion that you make like structured, and having like a deeper understanding of how you do things, and having those like specific lines, and having that in tune. Everything just fits into that. And then so that expresses its own way on each chakra level. And then crown chakra is having like a higher purpose in everything that we do. And ultimately, like that's where we want to be, is like understanding the higher purpose of everything that we do on each level. So yeah, I think a lot of times, it may not always be cut and dry on like how to um uh heal all the problems in the chakras. I think it really, it depends. It's a person to person kind of situation.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, we definitely have the ability to be able to see that from a centralized point, and like I said, kind of like be a Rosetta Stone of like the energetic language that is able to connect all of the areas, be able to connect a root chakra person with a sacral chakra person, and build healthy, lasting bonds that are an asset to the collective. But I think that's like one thing I really love about the concept of the chakras is it is just this whole language that is able to give us a deeper look into who we are, and why we are who we are, and why we like the things that we like and express the things we express.
Yeah. And then it's a very cosmic and very universal language as well, because when we take our perspective to um, energy and vibration and frequencies, um, that's where the colors come in. Each color has a different frequency that it resonates with when it comes to creation. And when you're eating certain foods that have that same color, it actually resonates with that chakra and the frequency of that chakra. So if you're eating like super greens, green smoothies, you're helping cleanse and activate your heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
If you're eating oranges and stuff with a lot of antioxidants, you're helping with your digestive tract and your bladder and the sacral. And then another thing I wanted to bring up was So the root chakra is also like almost like a dumping ground for energy to be dumped out, like built up energy to be able to release out of that vortex into the earth. So then you're not constantly holding on and building up energy over and over, and it allows you to continue to recycle. And the crown is like um, that resource for the top of the pillar to be able to continue bringing in or downloading, as we'll say, uh, downloading light, which is our higher self.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I just heard this really profound thing the other day. Like, I've just been studying a lot about like the tree of life and everything, and they were talking about like, okay, so Malkuth is like the equivalent of, it's basically connected in the area of like where the root chakra is at, but it's like, it is like the earth, it is our earthly body, it is the earth around us. And then Keter, it's like Hebrew, it means the crown, it's the highest point on the tree of life. And this, in the book, it's the guy was like explaining, it says most people are trying to like understand what Keter is, but like you can't really just like have an exhaustive explanation of what Keter is without understanding the rest of the tree of life. And he basically says Keter is the Malkuth of the heavens. So like in that sense, it's like at the same time saying like the crown chakra is like the root chakra of our higher self. So like our higher self has its feet in the heavens, and it's like it's high, and then it has like and then it descends and it has like its smallest point here, and like we have our feet here, and then like we have like our pyramid pointing upward, and like the least of what we know is in the heavens. So like the above realm, they know more of the above and like the least about here, and like we know the most about here and the least about there. Yeah, so Malkuth is like that lowest like green circle,
Mm-hmm.
and then Keter is like that highest white point. But yeah, like if you think of it in like the root is like the mother, and then the crown is like that father connection, and then like when you draw the two triangles that connect, when they like merge together in the middle, it becomes the Star of David. Like that represents like the above and the below uniting in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually interesting. So I put the intention to make a crystal grid last night on my bed, and I was automatically guided by spirit energy, and it just like started setting up the tree of life grid by itself through me. So interesting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, all of these patterns, they're they're expressing through our energetic fields. It's like we're just moved. That's our higher organizing principle. We're just moved to associate ourselves with that. It's like it just feels right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like you like take a bunch of like magnetic balls, and let them all like fall together in a bowl. They begin to form like the geometric patterns. It's just like they just naturally orient themselves in that way.
Yeah, it's so interesting when you start just breaking down the formations, the patterns and geometry of our beings, and you can
Mm-hmm.
start to understand um, how you can articulate and coordinate and orchestrate these meridian points for our energy to allow us to be in a harmonic symphony with the universe.
Yeah, it's actually, I find it now, like at first I felt like, it took uh so much to like motivate myself to break out of my old habits, to kind of um, make more of the healthier choices, uh, and veer away from like the media of like entertainment and more into like the study of this kind of stuff. But now I've come to the point that it's like it's so much fun to be able to have these revelations and like just see these deeper truths and like and see it like emanate all around us. It's like yeah, it's not yeah, it's like not hard anymore to just be immersed in this like you said, beautiful symphony of just energy, information, revelation.
Yeah, it really allows you just to really be present and just feel the 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 divine beauty of just being in existence, period. Like no matter where you are. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and something interesting is like that Kundalini energy. So physically, that energy rises up the spine, and when it reaches all the way up to the um, the pineal gland, it activates the pineal gland, and this fluid secretes back down the spine, and that is where the internal Christ awakening and Christo consciousness takes place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's where the resurrection symbolically is coming from.
Yeah, and that's it's definitely it shows all over when you start to understand these teachings. It starts to like reveal itself in like um, all of the teachings throughout antiquity. Even the like even in Taoism and all that, they call it like the yellow pill. They say like once this energy rises up, then like um, the pineal gland produces like this yellow secretion, and that's what like flows back down the spine. And then in Christianity, like this, it relates to like the land of milk and honey, because the like the uh, pineal gland is producing um, one hormone, and the pituitary gland is producing another, and they're yellow and white, so that they relate it to milk and honey. But yeah,
Oh,
it's crazy how it's just like when you start to like see it and like uh, and just feel it inside of you, and then you go back through like the teachings, and then it just like the answers just it just reveals itself. It's so obvious.
mm-hmm. So, so I just want to bring up, so like for instance, let's say something you're struggling with in the day is you're feeling um, you're feeling kind of like depression or a lack of like self-esteem and self-worth. Um, that would mean that your solar plexus and your root are blocked up. So some things that I find useful when it comes to opening up these energy centers is I'll lay down to meditate, and then I'll grab a few stones, and depending on which energy center it is, I'll grab a specific stone for that center. Um,
Mhm.
so, for example, they actually have a very great layout here of a few stones for each one. Um, I noticed that when it comes to the root chakra, it's a lot of like black stones and red ones. For example, like jasper, onyx, obsidian, tourmaline, stones like that. You just lay it where your root would be physically, which is at the bottom of the spine. and meditate with it there. And you kind of just don't think about it too much, like it's there, and trying to figure out if it is working or if it isn't. You kind of just accept that it has a vibration and an energy, and when it's there, you just allow it to do what it's doing. And then, for example, the solar plexus, I would use like tiger's eye, citrine, um, pyrite, and you just lay that in your abdomen area while you're laying down meditating. And then same thing with the other chakras. And then you can, I mean, the great thing about our internet access today is like you can find all of this information and much more at your own time and space, really.
Yeah, I think too that's like um a good expression too about how I was talking about how there's like the different languages of like the different kind of people, the different like kind of like archetypes. Where I think you relate more with like that violet archetype, like around like the third eye energy and like that just like that violet flame. Whereas so like you're more attuned to like these like subtle forces, and like I don't know from experience, but I can imagine that you don't get like uh super dense blockages where you get like road rage and like you're just like throwing things like go Hulk mode and stuff like that. So like you're working more with these like subtle forces, whereas like somebody that's more like root like root chakra red energy oriented, like that is like their energy is like so dense that like it's like super hard to like just like break that apart. So you literally gotta like uh build this like fire and just like and like put it in the forge and just like beat it apart into like something useful. And I think that's like a lot of um you know I think that's where a lot of people are at these days too, is just like um having such dense um stagnant energy that they don't know like what to do with it.
Yeah.
But that's I noticed I've been going through like this progression too. Is like now I'm also like kind of at the phase like you're talking about, is like when I feel like these blocked energies, like I'm more now prone to just to meditate, and like I can feel the energy just kind of like disintegrating. And then I can like and raise it up and like kind of like transmute that. But definitely before, um, probably like I mean, even like a year or two ago, I was at a point where like, if I really had a bad day, it's like I needed to go for a run, or just like I needed to like, uh, like throw some punches or something, like just do like some kind of like karate and like really like just break that and like just kind of like beat it apart, and then I can just like feel that energy like break up.
Mm-hmm.
But like kind of now I'm getting to the point kind of is like I do those things. I still like run and I'll still like, work out and all of that. But at the same time, like that used to be like my primary way of expression, but now that's becoming like way more like minimal, like secondary, where like my primary is like moving more into the meditation and everything, into those higher expressions. But yeah, I think definitely though sometimes I have like I'll go through like a phase in my life or a certain experience where like a lot of um you know even on like say things just aren't like going my way, like I'm trying to like at work I'm trying to like um you know express myself in a certain way or steer things in a certain way, and then like the universe and like the people around me just aren't aligning with that, and then even then I can get like kind of stressed out. But like it's like my sacral chakra kind of gets like shut down. I have this like momentum and I just hit this wall, and uh if I'm not like staying in that state of like focused awareness, then I kind of like hit it, and then I like feel the gears grinding and then try to drive through it a little bit, and then it's like I feel this like tension building up in my neck and in my body, and it's like at that point, like if I let it build for too long, it's like I need to like stretch. I need to like loosen my body up and like allow those energies to work their way out of my muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then so like I'll start with like that stretching, and then I'll like, you know, as I get looser and looser, then I get to the point, and then I feel the energy just kind of flowing, and then I just like hop into my meditation from there. And that's what how I was saying, like people kind of a lot of times expect this, you know, like people that are new on the path and everything, they expect this kind of like cut and dry, like this is the way you fix it, this is the way you do it. And like that's the thing, is we give people like these tools and these ideas and these concepts, but again, it's like you are like the artist's clay, and you have to, you know, take a hold of those tools and mold it to the way that really suits you and like feels good to your way of being and expressing.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah. So yeah, something I do every morning before I even get out of bed is I do a full chakra guided meditation every morning. It's vital. I understand how important the chakras are when it comes to living and experiencing and living life. And
Mm-hmm.
you can go on YouTube. I use like literally like an 8-minute guided meditation that activates or clears all 7 chakras. And it's literally like 15 minutes every morning, right before you get out of bed. And then, you know, you at least like kicked off your morning with clearing up your energy centers. And man, it's done wonders. It's changed my experiences and the way that I react and go about life in so many ways. And I feel it. Like I can feel around these areas, I can just feel the energy and lightness just flowing. And that's what's helped me um, just allow myself to be in so much peace and harmony and not let so many things get to me where I start acting out and, you know, doing things that, you know, we typically would regret, like getting over
Mm-hmm.
angry and uh, talking down on someone or um, taking everything personal, things like that. It's so interesting because like now when things do happen, say like uh, I'll use yesterday for example. Actually, I walked outside getting ready to go to work and my tire was flat. Uh, Old me would have gotten like pissed, like try blaming something for it, and then would just like get overreactive about it, probably take it out on someone that I talk to next. Um, but instead, yesterday was just, oh, okay, accepted that it happened, and I went inside, and then I asked my dad if I could use his car, and I wasn't able to because he needed to go to work that night. Well, all I did was just call AAA, and I just sat at home, called my work, and told them I was gonna be like an hour late. And it's like when we allow our energy to just flow instead of attaching to a feeling or emotion, we then can, you know, stay in that balance and allow our higher minded self to come in and negotiate with ourselves about how we should just take care of it and accept it for what it is instead of trying to deny what's happening and wish that it wasn't happening and then someone can't do anything to help take it out on them, um, you know, stuff like that. You just become way more rational instead of irrational, and
Mm-hmm.
you just you just hit it on the button. You just do what you need to do and continue moving forward.
Yeah, it's like instead of like having this moment to like sit down and meditate, like you're like, oh, I got an hour now just to like relax and prepare my mind before work. But you know, instead most people will just like have this like panic attack and freak out, and the whole time will be stressful, and they'll get to work and it
Yeah.
won't even be a big deal, but like they make it like um they make it a big deal, like they're making it harmful to their health, and like the rest of their day is ruined, even though like nobody at work even really cared.
Right. Yeah. Like, so I ended up putting my laundry away that I hadn't put away in like 2 days. I was like, all right, well, I got to put my laundry away. I got to just relax a little before I went into work, and we weren't even busy at work. So it was like everything was perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the kind of biggest recommendations I have is like for people that are like kind of starting out is like um at first it's gonna like take a little bit more time to really get attuned to the different areas and like feel the difference and like notice it in your body. So it's like what I do is like I kind of go in cycles. It's like sometimes I'll take like a week and I'll focus on the root chakra, and then I'll take a week and then do the sacral, and like they can do this even in like learning and like focusing and different things like that. It's like you take like these bigger chunks of time, and then it's like after you do that cycle and like kind of like work through and like spend and just kind of like sit in that energy and like in that focus and see things through that lens. So you then make it through the whole cycle of all of them, and then you go back through, and then you spend like one day on each of them, and then after you make it through that 7 day cycle, then you go through like, and then you go through a period of times where you like, you segment your, like you could do like do like an hour on each chakra like throughout the day, just like focusing and feeling and like working with that energy just to attune to it, and then kind of like you said, you get to like you work your way back to the point where then it's like you can just sit down and do like an 8 minute meditation where you do like a minute on each chakra, and like that's enough to bring it into alignment. Like so like maybe for like starting out, like you may do that 8 minute and like you may feel like, you may feel the difference and you may feel a little bit, but you're not really sure what it is. But then like if you break it down like in a macrocosmic microcosmic way, and then just like fluctuate through these different cycles within yourself, then it's like you really begin to have more of a scope, a wider scope and perspective on how these things express in your life in like different scenarios and different timelines. And then it becomes like a functional language that you can actually uh, communicate with your deeper and your higher self, um, and begin to kind of like be that medium, like that negotiator between the higher and the lower self, and say, okay, well, I have this, I'll trade you this for this. And then by doing that, like you draw yourself into that middle point. It's like you have your four elements like earth, air, water, and fire. It's like if you have too much fire and like you negotiate and you're like, okay, I'm gonna add like a little bit of water to this fire, it cools it down a little bit and it brings you closer to that center. It's the same thing with our chakra energies. It's like, um, it's like I have too much anger, um, or whatever. So my higher self is gonna negotiate and say, okay, well, instead of like meditating today, like go out and like, burn off that energy, like just like burn your fire as hot as you can, but like do it in a way that's gonna be holistically useful, in a way that's gonna benefit the rest of you. And by doing that and going out and just like running as fast as you can for as long as you can, like you're gonna get to this point where you don't even have the energy left to be angry, but you are still gonna have some energy, and that energy is gonna be those higher forces, and then your higher self takes over and says, okay, now it's my turn. Now I can meditate.
Hmm. So yeah, and like you were saying, sometimes you can tell if you're a little bit too much in the top heaviness, like too much in the crown, like you get a little spacey and not really paying attention and zoned out a lot,
Mm-hmm.
or hyperactive, like overly hyperactive to where like you can't really just keep yourself focused and uh, be present. Um, Good way to balance it out is just doing some root energy, grounding, which would be like going out into the earth with your bare feet, or doing some breathing exercises, and then also I could also see where if you do get like, angry and just kind of disconnect from everyone and everything, uh, a good way is to also to bring it to the center, which is to the heart, and just feel and have that compassion and feeling for everyone else and even your own
Hmm.
self. And yeah, it's a interesting and beautiful system designed by the creator for us.
Yeah, man. Two more things, like how you're saying, like it's vital when you get up in the morning to do that, like meditation, even if it's only like that 8 minutes. Like I'm getting to the point now, it's like when I wake up in the morning, it's I like I feel this like difference in my energy, in my energy body. It's like I could feel like sometimes it'll be like tingly or itchy in certain places, and I feel like fragmentation in my energy centers, and and just by if I go out into the world like that, then I feel like like you said, it's more prone to like being reactive. But um, it's what I've began to notice is that when I am like reacting and having these negative experiences, it's usually related to where I'm kind of like feeling that fragmentation in my energy. It's like this, like it's like kind of like just like a unstable frequency, and then when we sit down and meditate, it kind of like crystallizes that back into like a harmonic resonance, and it's like that like I said, when it hits that certain frequency point, it turns into like a geometric shape. It crystallizes itself in a geometric form. So maybe our chakras get like kind
Mm,
of like out of tune a little bit, so that geometric form begins to like
he's right.
um, lose its shape. Yeah, it begins to like kind of like lose its shape, and then when it loses its shape, it kind of like leaves gaps for things to like work their way into, and kind of like fragment that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, man. I do need to kind of get off of here. So I think um, I trust that we definitely shared pretty hefty amount of information that a lot of people can grow and build off of, that are beginning
Mhm.
this exploration of their self and the chakras. And of course, if anybody has any questions, they can comment below, and our social medias will also be down in the caption as well. And you can add us on social media, ask us any questions, and we will greatly assist in any way that we can to our abilities. And uh, yeah, we're going to wrap it up. And I think that was a beautiful session we just had, brother man.
Yep. Peace, everybody.
Peace, brother. Thank you for sharing the space and sharing the information, wisdom, and knowledge that you have.
All right, thank you, brother, for holding the space. And um, I mean, definitely, if you want to do this again, I'm down to connect and collaborate.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You too.
All
Wholeness.
right, you're signing off right now. You said you gotta go eat stuff.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another Sacred Light conversation. I'm very grateful to be able to hold this space and be able to unite and connect us through true information, knowledge, wisdom, and experiences for us all. That was Spectrum Exponential. That's what he goes by on Instagram. Good brother of ours. If you have any questions, his Instagram will be down below in the caption, along with mine and my Facebook as well. If you find this information helpful, or any of my other videos helpful, feel free to leave a comment, feedback, and don't forget to subscribe and like so you can stay in tune with more videos to come. Thank you. Wholeness. Love vibrations.
The illest to be, no ego, machismo with fuego. Kundalini is my payroll, saucy like queso. Watch me with a wrist, no watch, only crystal bracelets. Yeah, we stay lit. Yeah, we stay lit. We woke. There's riches inside of me, I ain't going broke.